Hello, my name is Marcus Ruiz-Evans, founder of the CalExit movement and one of many recognized leaders within it. Recently, the recall petition to recall the sitting governor of California has been gaining a great deal of traction. Perhaps the effort will fail. Californians still have a very high opinion of their governor, according to polls taken in the recent past. Additionally, I have visited some of the recall petition signature gathering efforts here in the Central Valley at multiple valley cities. I saw with my own eyes. While there were many people who were angry with the governor and his handling of the pandemic, there were at least as many people here in the conservative Central Valley who waved their hand at the petition gatherers and walked on, uninterested in what they were talking about, and most of whom, while walking away, would say, "We like him and he's protecting us." I've seen it firsthand. There's not a clear indication that everyone's upset with Gavin, and he still has a great deal of following, even in a place that is the least likely to like him. That should be indicative of a lot. It is not clear that there is a majority or anything close to a majority of Californians who support this recall. But the fact that the petition has only grown in signatures and popularity qualifies it as a political trend that we here at Yes California must take note of. To be thorough, here are some of the facts associated with the recall that are true and not good. First is the attendance of the governor with his wife at a dinner at the French Laundry, while ordering everyone to stay home and not see their loved ones. Second was the attendance of the governor's son at a private school, while ordering everyone else's children to have to stay home. Third is the fact that the governor said he would take pay cuts, as all California state workers were ordered to, and then it turned out he never actually took the pay cut. Now, the governor said that that was a mistake and an oversight, but he never corrected it until reporters called him out. Perhaps it was a mistake. Perhaps it was not. Fourth is the continued operation of the business owned by the governor when all other companies in that same county were forced to shut down. The governor ordered the shutdown of all businesses and yet kept his business open, essentially creating a monopoly. Fifth is the fact that the governor's company received millions of dollars in loans for coronavirus relief when other businesses were shut down and more in need. Why did he receive so much money? Sixth is the fact that all of these potential double standards come after the governor redirected what was known as SB1 money, which was to fix roads in California, and secretly tried to have some of that money sent to high-speed rail, which was not a popular program at the time. The governor was caught and backed down, but he did try to redirect funds which were not approved by California voters for high-speed rail. To be thorough, here are some of the facts associated with the governor and his handling of COVID-19. This was an unprecedented time, and there were few experts who knew what to do. Governor Cuomo made many mistakes. Our governor did not. During this time of chaos, Gavin Newsom stood up and assured 40 million of us here in California that he was doing his best to lead us through and that he would provide the guidance that we need. He had the courage to stand up during the worst time and say boldly, California will not wait for the federal government to open the economy, since Californians had lost total faith in the federal government's leadership during the coronavirus epidemic. He stood up and said, "Don't worry, Californians, I will lead you. Your government will provide guidance. We will not lend you to the federal government to do whatever they say. We will protect our people." And he stood up and did it during the time of intense chaos and nobody really too sure what to do. That was incredible courage. He also spent more time than anybody getting in front of Californians during this time, the early days of the pandemic, when people were losing their heads. He spent almost every day on television calmly walking through Californians about what was happening and what their government was going to respond with in order to deal with it. Politically, that opened himself up to be the target of rage. When the people are frustrated, you put yourself in front of them, you are increasing the chance that they will focus their rage on you. And yet, knowing that, the governor still did it because it was the right thing to do to keep Californians safe. The governor also inspired everyone in CalExit when he referred to California as a nation state, while saying California won't work with the federal government and would secure its own supplies. And he figured out how to go completely around America and secure desperately needed facilities and supplies when we needed them. And he did it through innovation. That's leadership. That's courage. That's what we needed, and he did provide that. And that should also be acknowledged along with all of the bad mistakes that he has made also. We feel that, yes, California CalExit, that this is a fair presentation of the governor. He has, in fact, made some bad calls, but he was also there providing leadership when it was the most dangerous to do so and politically risky, and he did it. The mistakes the governor made came after the governor provided leadership in the opening and most chaotic and dangerous time of this pandemic epidemic. That is a fair assessment of the California government now. Recently, the governor appointed Alejandro Padilla, a.k.a. Alex Padilla, to replace Kamala Harris, who was promoted from working for California to working for America as vice president. Padilla will be the first Latino or Latinx senator in California. As a Latino, I have to say, orale, very proud. But this is a curious development from Governor Newsom. There was a Latino who almost won the Senate race a few years earlier, ran an entire campaign on how he would be a senator, won 46% of the vote, and won endorsement from the California Democratic Party. He was not selected by Governor Newsom. KEVIN DELEON was the first Latino to lead the California Senate here in California. He was the first person to wield that much power over the entire government of California who was also Latino. He actually ran a Senate campaign. He almost won with 46% of the vote compared to Dianne Feinstein's 54%. And that's very impressive because Feinstein was the incumbent. Most Californians only knew about Dianne Feinstein. She had been there for years. To actually run against an incumbent and almost win, and the incumbent barely wins with 4%, is incredible. He also did this with a fraction of the money that Dianne Feinstein had, making it a further astounding feat politically. He won the Democratic Party of California's endorsement for his campaign, while Feinstein did not. You'd have to be an excellent politician to achieve all of these goals, or any of them in combination against an entrenched incumbent like Dianne Feinstein for the Senate race. And he was completely passed up for the Senate by Alex Padilla at the choice of Gavin Newsom. Padilla never ran for Senate. Padilla was never seen as a senator before, and he never actually ran a Senate campaign where he had to take tough questions, and he was never actually in charge of the California Senate. Padilla is qualitatively not as qualified. Although he is a good politician and competent, he's just nowhere near as qualified for the role of Senate as DeLeon. This is curious because Padilla is also a longtime friend and former employee of Senator Dianne Feinstein, the candidate DeLeon opposed. Feinstein actually endorsed Padilla before Newsom made the announcement that Padilla would be the senator. Why is the former employee of the person who KEVIN DELEON ran against being appointed to be senator? Why is Newsom listening to Dianne Feinstein on who should be a senator when she almost lost the Senate race and in fact lost the Democratic Party's support during her Senate campaign? Yes, California is not the only ones to see this duplicity about Feinstein backing Padilla in 2020. Quotes, California Democratic Party activist R.L. Miller tweeted, "What a friggin' surprise. An out-of-touch centrist backs her own protege." Other Californians said that. Dianne Feinstein is famously out of touch with how things are here in California and our California values. In 2017, she told people that Trump will probably serve out his term. In a matter of fact, nothing wrong to see here, everything's fine tone of voice, and was literally shocked at the massive amount of booing from the audience. Dianne Feinstein, right after Trump was elected, goes to California, meets a bunch of Californians, they talk about the orange one, and she says, yeah, he'll probably serve out his term and we need to work with him. Nonchalant. Everybody yelled and screamed and booed at her, and you can see the look on her face of total shock. She had absolutely no expletive clue of how Californians felt about Trump when she literally said, let's work with him in 2017. That's how out of touch she was. She told Californians at that time that they should be patient with Trump and that he could, quote, be a good president. Sean Clegg, a veteran Democratic operative in San Francisco, said, it's Dianne being Dianne, but it's greatly out of step with where the base is, where most Democrats are, and where most California voters think about this issue. Then she doubled down on her support for Trump after being informed how Californians felt about him. In January 2020, Dianne Feinstein said that she would vote to acquit Trump. When she was called out about it, she quickly said that was a misstatement and people misunderstood her. But that's 2 times in a row that she backed Trump against the wishes of Californians. And her choice was Padilla. KEVIN DELEON actually invented the phrase California values. He did that when repudiating the American choice of Donald Trump. KEVIN DELEON actually backed sanctuary cities against the wishes of Donald Trump. KEVIN DELEON talked a lot of garbage about Donald Trump. He stood for California values. He represented how we thought about Trump. He said that America does not share our values the second they elected him. And he routinely and viciously backed sanctuary cities, even though Trump didn't like it. Feinstein did nothing of the kind. And her appointee was chosen by her. And he is not KEVIN DELEON. To conclude, Dianne Feinstein said, be nice to Trump and that he would be good, and was shocked at the horrible reaction of Californians to it. Then she said later she wanted to acquit him. Is it worse that she wanted to work with Trump or that she clearly had no clue how Californians felt about him? That was in 2017 and the year 2020. Now it's almost 2021, and other Democrats are calling her decision to advocate for Padilla also out of touch with California voters. DeLeon should have been the senator to replace Kamala Harris, and Feinstein should not have endorsed any candidate or been listened to at all by Governor Newsom. DeLeon invented the phrase California values while slamming America for not having those same values. He backed sanctuary cities, which were popular in California, even though the USA hated them. He backed climate change when it was first emerging. And DeLeon walked out of the Capitol and took a photo with me, knowing that I was president of Yes California Calexit. Because he was not treated fairly and has been nothing but a champion for California standing up to American culture and the federal government, Yes California today endorses KEVIN DELEON for governor if the recall petition succeeds.